Get woke, go broke in quite possibly the best way possible. Now, we sit back and we cross our fingers that when these companies do horrible things with their insane cult ideology, they suffer the consequences of that. But sometimes it doesn't happen. And that's why I say get woke, go broke is not a law, it's a tendency. But now we have direct intervention from a real leader, Ron DeSantis. From businessinsider.com, it brings me great joy to read you this headline. DeSantis administration revokes Hyatt Regency Miami alcohol license after it hosted a drag queen Christmas. Now, I got no problems with drag queens. I got no problem with burlesque. I got no problem with strippers. I got no problem with people who are consenting adults that want to have adult entertainment. But when you bring kids into adult entertainment, when you bring in adult entertainers for children, you have crossed the line. Drag is basically LGBT burlesque, and you wouldn't bring a kid to a burlesque show. It's also akin to go-go dancing, and you wouldn't bring go-go dancers to story time, would you? Now, go-go dancers aren't naked. Yeah, but it's still inappropriate, and y'all know it. Here's the story from Insider. They say that the DeSantis administration is revoking the Hyatt Regency Miami's alcohol license after one of its facilities hosted a drag queen Christmas with minors present in the audience. The Department of Business and Professional Regulation filed a 17-page complaint Tuesday against the show's venue, the James L. Knight Center, which is affiliated with the Hyatt. The show required people under 18 to be accompanied by an adult as a condition of being allowed to attend. Do you know what that means? That means they know it's an adult show. A Drag Queen Christmas is a holiday-themed drag show that tours in 36 different cities and features stars from the reality RuPaul's Drag Race. It also had overt sexual, let's just say, acts in the show. The state's business department accused the facility of several violations, including a prohibition of lascivious exhibition before people younger than 16, though it's not clear to what extent this law is generally enforced. The department said performers were wearing sexually suggesting clothing and prosthetic female genitalia, as well as simulating masturbation. And I also believe this was the show where the two men thrust into each other, right? The least Ron DeSantis could do was revoke their, we got audio coming from somewhere. Oh, no, that's a phone. Oh, weird. Weird, creepy phones. Anyway, the least that Ron DeSantis could have done was revoke their alcohol license. So we have this administrative complaint. Petitioner is the state agency charged with regulating alcohol beverages and tobacco pursuant to Chapter 210, blah, blah, blah. I want to make sure we can. Here's what they say. On or about December 27th, 2022, respondent hosted a drag queen Christmas on its licensed premises, during which respondent served alcoholic beverages to patrons in attendance. Now, that's interesting. You brought children into an adult performance with alcohol. That's interesting. Respondent promoted the show using targeted Christmas-themed promotional materials and that did not provide notice as to the sexually explicit nature of the show's performances or other content. Oh, man, they got exhibits. Oh, no. YouTube, if you get mad at me for showing these exhibits, you're a bigot. What's wrong with showing these exhibits? Prior to the show occurring, and based on media reports about the show at other locations, petitioner sent a letter to respondent notifying respondent that sexually explicit drag show performances constitute public nuisances, lewd activity, and disorderly conduct when minors are in attendance, and that if respondent failed to ensure that minors were prohibited from attending such performances, its license would be subject to penalties up to and including revocation. They told them outright, if you let kids into a sex show, we take away your license. And they did. And now you lose your license. Although respondent updated its advertising to include a disclaimer that the show was recommended for audiences 18 plus. Respondent's admission policy specifically allowed for minor children to attend if accompanied by an adult. As a result, minors attended and were knowingly admitted into the show by respondent during the show and in the presence of persons less than 16 years of age. Performers appeared on stage wearing sexually suggestive clothing and prosthetic female genitalia. The show featured numerous segments where performers engaged in acts of sexual conduct, simulated sexual activity, and lewd, vulgar, and indecent displays, including but not limited to A. Performers forcibly penetrating or rubbing their exposed prosthetic female breasts against the faces or oral cavities of audience members. These are all in the exhibits. Intentionally exposing performers' prosthetic female breasts and genitalia to the audience. Intentionally exposing performers' buttocks to the audience. Simulating masturbation through performers digitally penetrating prosthetic. Wow. I don't even know if I can read these things on YouTube. Graphic depictions of childbirth and or abortion. Additionally, the videos were projected on screens behind the performers. The videos included images of exposed female breasts and less than a fully opaque covering, portrayals of simulated masturbation and other sexually explicit content. These people are pedophiles. This is outright saying it. They were told no kids. They were showing children sexual content. I don't know what else you would call that other than pedophilia and grooming. The show also contained sexually explicit themes and prurient content presented through perverted versions of popular children's Christmas songs. These included an adaptation of All I Want for Christmas Is My Two Front Teeth that contained portrayals of oral, as well as the line, I'll sit on his lap and he can put his milk and cookies all between my gap. The show also featured a performance from Screwdolph, the red-nippled reindeer, which included the following lyrics. I can't read this. I can't read it. I'm sorry. I think that one would get me a strike. At all times, material to this complaint, respondent maintained dominion and control over its licensed premises. Is this all you got, Ron? Shut the whole thing down. Revoke their business license. You can no longer serve alcohol because you had groomers showing sex content to children? Revoke their entire license. Shut it down. Maybe that will wake these people up. I'm sorry. This is the least they could do. And I mean it, the least. They could do more. They should have a criminal investigation into this. The manager of the premises should be criminally charged. If you went to a playground and showed these images to children, no question, you'd get arrested. Petitioner realleges and incorporates by reference the allegations set forth through paragraphs 1 through 14. Let's read on. Exposing genitals are inconsistent with the prevailing standards in the adult community as a whole, with respect to what's suitable material for children under the age of 16. They reallege and incorporate the blah, 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 count 2, count 3. They're just basically saying, they're basically reiterating everything. Count 4, they're outlining in basic details like what Florida statute prohibits this behavior, this behavior, this behavior. And they're showing basically that, they've violated a lot of laws. Man, that's crazy. Let's see, we got count 6. What is this one? Maintaining the facility division and to give full power to the authority to revoke, suspend a license of any person holding a license under the beverage law. Revoke their entire business license. This is the Hyatt. Okay, you're shut down. 6 months suspension. Everybody GTFO. I'm just sick of it. Look, I love the headline. I love that they did some kind of executive action. How about this, Ron? How about you send in state police and arrest the manager of this facility for hosting a sexual event for children? It's that simple. Arrest him. Walk in. Any cop can do it. Arrest him. Are there any cops near this jurisdiction in Miami who have the balls to take it upon themselves to just go in, ask for the manager, ask, were you the manager present on this night in question? Turn around, place your hands behind the back. Take the initiative. I've seen cops arrest people at their own discretion. Here you go. It's right here in front of you. Deal with the district attorney and the crybaby politicians and the bureaucracy after the fact. After a cop says, I am willing, based on this document, to take it upon myself to issue an arrest. Let me ask you something. If a guy had an event inviting children and then showed sex to those kids, should that person be arrested? I can hear the collective yes from all of you. So Ron DeSantis, why isn't it happening? I'm really done. Okay. I have no time I like it taking away their alcohol license. So what? So the guy who manages the place goes, I don't know. So we don't sell beer anymore. So we don't sell wine or vodka or whiskey. So what? Okay, sure. Maybe some people won't go downstairs to the bar. Make them feel it. This man who runs this, the manager, should be arrested. Staff members who facilitated it should be arrested. I'm not kidding. If you were a caterer, if you worked for the Hyatt and you were told, bring food down, and you aided and abetted this event, you should be arrested. You think I'm kidding? I'm not. If I was working at a club, security guard or bartender or barback, whatever, and the company was bringing children into a sex show, I would leave and I would call the police. And I would say, this I don't want to be involved in. All of them. They should get some kind of charge for aiding and abetting this exploitation. But you know what it is? It's called the Overton window. Imagine what would have happened 50 years ago if they did this. 100 years ago. If it was 100 years ago, they'd probably grab all of the people in the establishment and string them up. Now that's a little too far, if you ask me. We are now at a point where the Overton window has shifted so far that Ron DeSantis, the one of the top contenders for the Republicans, is going, listen here, if you host a sex show for children, we're going to take away your liquor license. It's better than nothing. Like I said, I liked reading the headline, but you mean to tell me that's it? Ron DeSantis, the strongest guy. What about Trump? Where's anyone to do anything? The fact is, outlining everything they did in this, and they were like, I can't believe that they would bring children in and simulate sex acts in front of them and show them videos of it. I'm going to take away their right to sell beer. That's it? Amazing. Well, this is the modern era. Oh, boy. Here are the exhibits. But you know what? If you want to make the argument that this is appropriate for children, YouTube, let's play ball. Let's go through the exhibits. Exhibit 2, it says, for the eighth consecutive year, Murray and Peter presented Drag Christmas, blah, 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 20-minute intermission, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. Here's the letter they sent saying if you have kids there, I believe the Department of Business Regulation saying it has come to our attention that you've contracted big-time operator, blah, blah, blah. To avoid action being taken against your license, it is your obligation to ensure that all minors are prohibited from attending the Drag Fans Drag Show. If minors are allowed to attend, the department will take any and all actions available to ensure that you do not pose a threat to minors in the future. So you took away the beer so they can still do it, but now they can't be drunk when they do it. Do more. Melanie S. Griffin. You know, look, man, I like that the DeSantis administration took action, but I am saying this right now. And maybe, look, here's what I know. There are people who are like, hey, can you get this Democrat or that Democrat on your show? And I'm like, I'm not pulling punches. You bring them on the show and I will go after them. We've had some Republicans and I've just been like, outright, no. You know, I've argued impeach Joe Biden for these reasons. And they, no, we can't do that. I'm not playing. I had a candidate and I said, would you vote to impeach Joe Biden? And he goes, I don't think so. Then why would I vote for you? Why would I vote for you if you're going to let this crime family? Yeah, they're not the greatest crime family. They're just corrupt. Do whatever they want. No, he should be impeached. Well, he's not going to get convicted anyway. I don't care. I want action. So when we have the DeSantis administration, I'm going to ask them, why did you just take away their liquor license? Why did you not send in state police to arrest the people who hosted a sex show for children? I want answers. Because I'm sick of the pretending. We are so concerned about this that we're going to make sure the next time they do it, there will be no beer there. Okay. Sure, I guess. It could hurt them economically. Here we go. What's this? Exhibit showing, is this showing minors right here? We'll scroll down because it's starting to give me the business. Here's, fake genitals. It's a little blurred. Here's partially nude men. Oh, yes. Here's children. Oh, my God. Wow. All right. The exhibits presented weren't, they were a little grainy based on the document, but I'm just tired of it, man. I really, really am. I like Ron DeSantis. He's doing more than most. Is that the best you have? Is that the best we can muster? Do I have to run for office? Maybe that's the out. I just decide to run for office and then actually enforce the laws. Florida is supposed to be this great state where Ron DeSantis is doing all these great things. And don't get me wrong, this is more than most. But I am just so shocked that Texas has had these shows. The cops did nothing. And you know what's funny is that when they had one of these child sex shows that they're doing right now, and I'm going to be careful. One of these big lefty nonprofits, I can't remember which one, I tweeted about it, said they were neo-Nazis protesting pedophiles. And I was like, why are they neo-Nazis? Like a group of people come out saying no pedophiles and you're like, well, they're all Nazis. Is it that they're really Nazis and you're so anti-Nazi you're defending pedos? Okay. In Texas and in Florida, they have mostly allowed this. And the best thing we've seen from Florida, supposedly the best state, Ron DeSantis wins by 1 million votes. The best he can do is say, no, we're going to take away your beer. Oh, oh, oh. So you know what they're going to do? They're going to keep doing it. And they're going to call it a protest until you go and arrest them and say, not in my town. The people of Florida voted against that stuff. Not all of them. Some of them like it. And those are bad people. And the people who facilitate these shows should also be arrested. If somebody worked at a club and then the owner of that club started trafficking children and the people who worked there were like, hey, I'm not going to be involved. I'm just doing my job. Drinks, sir? Should they be charged? Yes, they should. It's like if someone goes into a criminal organization, I don't care if you're the driver, you are part of a criminal organization facilitating it, you get arrested. Come on. Here's what's going to happen. They're going to whinge, and the Overton window will keep shifting. I don't see this action as meaningful enough to actually bring about change in the other direction. It's not going to shift the Overton window. It's something. I'm glad to hear it, like I said. But just reading through all this stuff, I'm just getting so frustrated with the inaction. Like the best we can do is take your liquor license. It's funny. This hotel won't be able to sell booze for dinner. And people will just go without. And the people will still stay there. And the business will still make money. And they will not stop doing these things. You know, they did in West Virginia, too. Around where we are setting up our new space, there was a flyer for a children's drag show in West Virginia. They're doing it on purpose. They are groomers. They are pedophiles targeting children with sexually explicit shows. This is their intent. As James Lindsay pointed out, they wrote in this thesis, the goal is to get the glitter in the carpet that will never come out. They want to groom children. Now, it's not about LGBT. That's the lie, the Mott and Bailey. Because if it was, it wouldn't need to be sexually explicit. They wouldn't need to show men thrusting into each other. That's the sex. That's the grooming of children. If it was just drag queens and they were dancing on stage and singing, I'd still argue it's inappropriate. But they're doing more than that. They have simulated sex acts on stage and more. And what do we get? The best we get, Ron DeSantis. That's the best. Who's running for office that's going to campaign on, if you have a show for children that is sexual in nature, you will be arrested. You'll be put on the sex offender registry. We will not allow that in our state. Have a nice day. Can Ron DeSantis do that? So I'll tell you why I've been leaning towards Donald Trump. Because Ron does he does these great things in the culture war that are like the bare minimum of what you'd expect from a good leader. And we've all been like, that's great, I'll take it. Pushing back against wokeness, doing things like this. Yep, the bare minimum. And we're so accustomed to failure that we're satisfied with this. Now, I'll tell you what I want to see. 1, a drag queen having an adult show. Totally fine. In fact, I'll show up, I'll smile and laugh, and we'll all share a drink together on me. A drag show that has children present, we will bring the police and we will arrest you. You'll be criminally charged for enticing minors, for lewd and lascivious acts in front of minors, whatever statute we have available to us. You'll be arrested. I don't care if adults want to do adult things. In fact, I'm very libertarian. You're an adult, you want to do drugs? Don't care. You're an adult and you want to go to sex clubs? Literally don't care. Have fun, adults, consenting adults. Do your thing. Don't hurt people. Be careful. You want to bring kids into the mix? You're going to get arrested. Can we get that promise from any one of these leaders? Look, man, I host a show. It's a decently big show, Timcast IRL. And I know why a lot of people won't come on the show, because I'm going to sit back and say, if it makes sense, it makes sense. And that means I will ask, if ever shall we sit down with Ron DeSantis, why are you not arresting these people? You are the head of the executive of Florida. You handle law enforcement. State police should be instructed to immediately shut down these events. And if they are done in secret, you arrest the people hosting them. There's evidence. Where's the DA? I'll leave it there. We'll see. Next segment's coming up at 6 p.m. on this channel. Thanks for hanging out, and I'll see y'all then.